Let's go rub like a senator.
This is the Padres Postcast, your instant game reaction for the San Diego Padres. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
What's up, Padre fan? Welcome to your show, Padres Postcast on the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. So whether you are here on the YouTube channel, Locked On Padres Podcast, whether you're here on the audio side, and that means Spotify, that means Stitcher, Podbean, iHeart, and, oh yeah, some little thing called Apple Podcast. You know what I'm saying? Fix the beard here while I tell you that we're also free. Get down with OTT. Yeah, you know me with a shirt like this. Who wouldn't be? And yeah, I'm a little exuberant today, man. What a series that was. Not the way the Padres wanted it to end, but whether you're joining us on Roku as well, because we're free there, welcome to the party, baby. It's the Postcast. I'm Jim Grieshaber. Call me Grease. I want to make sure that while you're here, pardon moi, first thing I do is say thank you for making us your first watch, first listen every day. Maybe it's your second, but it's Locked On Padres Podcast with the one and only Javier Reyes, building the audience and taking you through everything for the Friar faithful, the Friar fanatics, the Friars since before COVID. Great job by Javi. Hope that throat's feeling better, buddy, with the strep throat. And, of course, the Postcast with yours truly. So whether on YouTube, whether on your crew, or wherever you listen to your podcast, you get Javi and me in the same spot. Same types of content. We love it. It's the Postcast. It's the day-to-day and everything with the Padres. But we want to definitely make sure we thank you for that to start every show. In today's show, the episode of Padres Postcast brought to you by FanDuel. Right now, new customers can get $200, make you holler, in bonus bets when your first $5 bet wins. $200 in bonus bets when your first $5 bet wins with FanDuel, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. And obviously not the way that the Padres wanted this game to wind up today, or the series for that matter. But again, you started off pretty well in this series with a couple of wins, and you're at that point pretty much playing with house money. You're guaranteed at least a split. Not the way you want to see it all the way across the board, but think about this. You know, you're facing 8-game winner now, Robbie Ray, in today's series finale. But all told, I mean, these are all one-run games, and today you lose 3-2. By the way, but all one-run games on the road against San Fran. The pitching, the overall baseball, there were a couple errors here and there, but the crisp baseball being played, these are playoff caliber teams. These are elite athletes and baseball players all over the diamond, making plays. Yeah, you'd like to see the sticks a little bit more. Giants fans too, who we kidding? But it seems like every starter rolling out for the Giants is like ERA under 3 with a record, not such a good record. But for whatever reason, Robbie Ray has been the antithesis of that. He's 8-1 after today. But so many things happened in this game, so many things to take you through, missed opportunities. I know. Even in the 9th inning, Cronenworth's up. He's fouling balls off, against Duvall. And you're thinking this is where Duvall falls apart. No, but he battles back and strikes out Cronenworth with runners on second and third and 2 outs in the 9th inning. And you're thinking, here, man, 2 outs, 2 strikes. Come on, Jake. Little punchy to like left field here. And nope. But that would have scored 2 and it would have made it 4-3. Then you got Suarez coming in and trying to win 3 out of 4. And the Dodgers might have lost already against the Mets today. So you could have literally tied for first place, right, in that moment. But let's see where the Dodgers at now. We are looking at 6-5. They were down in this game in the 7th inning, in the 8th inning. I keep looking. So a couple of comeback wins in the Mets series, 4-game series, 2-2 split there for the Dodgers. They split with the Mets while you split with the Giants. All right, I'm just knocking things off my desk here, but that's how it worked out. You lose that game. And by the way, while you're here, smash that subscribe button. Be a part of the family, the rising tide that lifts all boats here. And then, of course, by the way, you also want to make sure that you are alerted. Make sure you get that ding right there every time we come live with content. So you want to make sure you hit that bell and come on into the chat, especially if you're live here on YouTube. Say what's up. Go in the mailbag, comments, whatever. We try to get to everyone, but we don't always do that. So it's nice to have you here interacting live on the YouTube. You see the headline behind me. That is literally a beautiful swing from Manny Machado. A home run, a 2-run shot in the 3rd inning. In fact, all the runs came in the 3rd inning of this game. All 5. Both teams were shut out in the 1st and 2nd, and then the 4th through the 9th, nobody scored. right? Really good pitching. Cease had a mistake or two, but he looked really good. Actually got crushed in the arm by a liner on the arm. So you hope he's okay. But so much to get to break down this game. A little late with the kickstart. Kickstart my heart. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? But wow, nothing to be ashamed of. All 4 one-run games, 2-2 series split. You're still 4-2 against the Giants this season. And yeah, you would have loved yesterday to hold. Yesterday was the day to be ticked. Today was a very well-played game, and you were hoping Jake could come through with the hit in the 9th inning. You were hoping Fernando's oppo shot in the 8th, and he hit it to the deepest part of the park in right center, barely into right center. And you're looking there because you had a runner on base, and you're thinking, wow, Tati, it's a Tati party, baby. Nope, just able to hold that ball in was that wind coming off the bay in San Fran, and Fernando had another bad day after seemingly snapping out of the slump yesterday, but today 0 for 4 with 2, I'll use it in the correct way, the way Mud uses it, punchies. You know what I'm saying? So hitting with runners in scoring position, Fernando's near miss in the 8th, Jake in the 9th, all sorts of things coming your way to break down and go through the way that they scored, what happened in this game, and the big milestone for Manny, why you bugging? HR number 350 on the career for Manny Machado. What a job by Manny Machado. Jim Grieshaber, call me Grease, Padres Postcast and the Lockdown Podcast Network in full swing. Let's go.
This is what you'll be talking about.
This is what we've been talking about a lot lately. It's like, how many hits you got? A lot. How many homers you've been hitting? A lot. How many runs you've been driving in? A lot. How many great plays you've been making in the field? A lot. And that's how much we've been talking about Manny Machado. Look at the follow-through, the form on that swing. He's played more games as a Padre than any other team now. He is a Padre. He is the modern-day version of what you would call Mr. Padre. Not to take anything, and obviously it's Tony Gwynn's nickname forever, but the guy on this team when you go, hey, I love the Padres. Anywhere in San Diego, who's the first guy anyone's going to bring up? It's going to be Manny or it's going to be Fernando, but Manny, you know what I mean? And it's going to be Fernando, and especially since Fernando, young kid and really just come up through this organization and all that. But you had a really nice moment if you're Manny Machado when he had that. And look, it was in the 3rd inning, and it gave you the lead in this game. And, yesterday you had the 5-run lead and you blew it. You're ticked off. You really ticked. Yesterday was the game you had to win. And Pivetta, and it fell apart a little bit. Adam, Cease kind of fell apart in that 2nd inning, or 3rd inning today. But, overall, he bounced back and he was good till he got hit by the liner. And we'll have to wait word on that. And man, we have a picture to show you on that one. And I might as well just show you. It's Skip, man. Mike Schilt coming out of the dugout. And I had to, did I not upload that? Oh, come on, Grease. You got to find this picture. I'll have it for you by the end of the show. He just has the hat halfway off, and he's like that, man. And it was just because you already got King on the IR, you Darvish, Musgrove, and you're going, oh, my God, not Dylan Cease, too. I mean, the guy's 1-5, but he's been pitching really well lately. The ERA been coming down, 5 innings, 5 hits, 3 earned runs, 7 strikeouts. Little mental lapses by pitchers in their starts. Pivetta yesterday, a couple of times gave up a little bloop hit. Maybe a lapse in concentration because after those bloop hits, he gave up a homer and a double. And those were the only hard hit balls really off him all game that dropped. And so that's really tough. You know what I mean? To have those quick little mental lapses. It's what happened to Cease today. But you know what I mean? The bullpen came on. They were really good in this game. I was very, very impressed with what the bullpen had done in the series overall. And David Morgan, for the 2nd time in a row, 2 innings pitched today. 3 strikeouts. His ERA is at 1.69. Really great job by him. And how about one of the unsung heroes of this team so far this season? Nobody ever talks about Yuki. Yuki Matsui has been absolutely great. His ERA is a little over 3. You think about what he's done with this team so far this year. He had the bad outing against Pittsburgh, and really that was it. He gave up a run in a game against Miami, but against Pittsburgh, had the tough outing, gave up the 2 earned runs. It's nice to see him bounce back today. Had a bad game against Seattle and then gave up a run against the Marlins. Other than that, donuts, bagels, zip, zilch, nada. Yuki Matsui with a tremendous job again today for the Pods. And, it goes without saying that Yuki is a key part of this bullpen. And with Morejon and with Yuki Matsui, what I'm thinking here is, you have a situation where it's you don't have that dominant lefty out of the bullpen like Tanner Scott a year ago, right? And with Scott and Adam and Suarez, an embarrassment of riches, I would have chosen, and this is because I did Marlins last year, I would have chosen Tanner Scott over Jason Adam if I had to choose. But that's neither here nor there, and especially now the Dodgers got him and they came back to win again. It's sickening, right? All their injuries, they still keep winning. But Robbie Ray struck out 9 in 7 innings today. They still don't have the big gun in the middle of the lineup, the power hitting first baseman. I love Jake and I love Arise, but first base is a power hitting position. I'd love to see Arise back at second. Cronenworth's the odd man out, whatever. Xander's got to hit down further in the lineup. I love Merrill as a number 5 hitter, and Manny has shown me lately, leave him in the 3-hole, you're good. I want a big-time hitter in that 4 slot, and I want him to be a left fielder. Let's go get him by the deadline, all right? But the 2021 AL Cy Young Award winner, Robbie Ray, pitched like it today, minus the homer that Manny hit off him. Dominic Smith, the 2-run ground rule double for the Giants, had 3 hits in the game. But Manny, with his 350th, had 2 RBIs. And you thought that Manny, maybe hit a home run in the 9th inning, leading off the 9th, actually, after Tyler Wade. And Arise left the game early after trying to beat out a grounder. And then his turn comes up with Fernando on and, 2 outs. And Fernando had just flown to the track, and Wade comes up with a runner on third base, and they don't get him home. And then, a runner on second base, rather, because he didn't tag on Fernando's deep fly ball. That's what it was. My bad. He didn't tag on Fernando's deep fly ball. And I'm trying to remember who it was. It gets a little murky sometimes going inning by inning, but especially when you're coming out right after the game. So it was top of the 8th inning, and it was Lockridge who had singled right. He's one of your fast guys, too. So Lockridge does not tag when Fernando flies out to the wall in center. And this was right after Rodriguez had thrown an awful wild pitch all the way to the backstop without even hitting the catcher's glove. No chance to even have an opportunity to commit a pass ball. And you don't tag up and take third on Fernando's fly ball to the deepest part of the park on the track, an easy tag, and you don't do it. That was rare for the Padres to commit that kind of mental error running the bases, and that was Lockridge, who's got to be out of there anyway. He's got to be like a pinch runner or a defensive replacement for a power hit, a guy you would never take out anyway, so never mind. With Lockridge there, maybe a day off here and there, spot start outfielder, but I don't know if it's him or if it's Wade or what the case may be there. But then you had Fernando's, line out, and then Wade strikes out swinging, and you leave Lockridge on second. A base hit would have tied the game there. And then in the 9th, obviously, Manny singles to right, and you're thinking, wow, this is going to be awesome. But then Merrill flies out. He's not hitting so great lately. Sheets with a bullet of a single. Here we go. First and second. No chance for Manny to go to third. But Iglesias, you're thinking, all right, he can punch one through. Nope, he grounds to short. And then Cronenworth fouls some off, and then he strikes out. A good job by Duvall to get out of that inning. So just a tough one, and Cease was throwing great today, had a little bit of a lapse in the game that, just kind of, that was it. And all the runs were scored in the 3rd inning. It was like, anything you could do, I could do better. So you're looking at this game, right? It's 3-2 the final, and it was the Padres out hitting the Giants 7-6. No errors committed in this game. Great pitching, great defense all the way across the board. It was real nice in this series. 1-run games, all of them. Robbie Ray got the win, 8-1, 7 innings, 4 hits, 2 runs, 9 Ks, 1 walk. Cease 1-5, but 5 innings, 3 earned runs, 7 strikeouts, 3 walks. Duvall got the save in an inning. He gave up 2 hits and had a strikeout. Again, the Padres ended the game with both the tying and go-ahead runs in scoring position, and it did not, and look, even when he struck out today, Fernando had good at-bats. There are a lot of things, with things going well for the Padres, but they just, to me, they're undermanned, and especially if Cease is out at all with King and with Yu Darvish, we know he's going to come back, but that's rough right now because that makes Pivetta, and it's an argument anyway that Pivetta's been your best pitcher, and he had a 5-run lead yesterday, so literally could have been a sweep, should have been 3 out of 4, but you're still up by a game over the Giants thanks to that comeback win over Pittsburgh on Sunday. So you win some like this, you lose some like this, and that B's what it is, and that's my point. B's like that. You know what I'm saying? Padres Postcast on the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. I'm Jim Grieshaber. Call me Grease. Got to step aside, take a break. When we come back, we have your turning point. We have your player of the game. We get you ready a little bit for the Brew Crew. Now, they've won 10 of 11. It was 8 in a row going into the Cincy series. They took 2 out of 3. Ain't bad from the Reds, right? And so we'll talk about that a little bit, but this is your Padres Postcast on the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day, and I get a chance to tell you how you can make an extra $200. You want to hear about that? Yeah, I know you do. Let's do this. It is Padres Postcast on the Locked On Podcast Network, your team. Every day, 3-2 Giants, the final. Padres split the 4-game series. They're a game behind the Dodgers and a game above the Giants right now. We will let you know. We got an updated Dodgers score as well when we come back after this word. Bear with me, guys. 1 second. Un momento, por favor, as I get set to tell you how you can make a little extra money here. $200 to be exact. And who doesn't want a little extra cash? You know what I mean? Running around the gas lamp. Spend it all in one spot in 10 minutes. But so what? That's 200 more that you have toward your bar tab, toward a nice young lady or man or person or whatever that you meet. How about you just want to hop a little bit from place to place, get a drink here, drink there, food here, food there, whatever you want to do. That little extra money will come in handy because the NBA playoffs are in full swing. Let me say that again. The finals start tonight, and every night delivers highlight-worthy performances, major momentum shifts, and can't-miss moments. Look at SGA. Look at Hallie. Look at Siakam. Look at Dort. What a matchup this is going to be with OKC and the Pacers. So whether it's a game-winning shot or a breakout player, there's never a better time to get in on the action, and that's where FanDuel makes it easy to stay in the game before tip-off and live. Let me explain. With player props, performance trends, and same-game parlays, fans have more ways than ever to play smart and win big. Which players are showing up at the biggest moments, for example, like Siakam, like Hallie, like SGA? And how could tracking their trends help you build your next bet? What would it look like to combine live prop bets mid-game based on how the action unfolds, right? Be amazing. And how about this? If you got a read on who's heating up, one of those role players starts getting streaky. It happens every year in the finals. It's going to happen a couple times in this series. Why not back it up with a same game parlay? Someone like Alex Caruso, you know what I'm saying? So how about a $200 bonus in bets, right? How would that add to the excitement if your first $5 bet hits? Let me tell you that again. If your first $5 bet hits, you get $200 in bonus bets. How'd that feel for you? Yeah, right? And if you're new to FanDuel, it's the perfect time to sign up. Just head to FanDuel.com and place your first $5 bet. If it wins, you'll get $200 in bonus bets just like that. Love you, Mike Goldberg, buddy of mine. Make every moment more with FanDuel, official sports betting partner of the NBA on the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. I mean, can you tell I love my job or what? Hey, Padres Postcast, Jim Grieshaber, call me Gries, GRIES, at Jim Gies _ on social media. I'll be on ESPN Radio across the country. That's on Saturday, and I'll be breaking down the UFC 316 main card with the Hall of Fame guys, Brad and Booker T. So that's going to be fun with the five-time world champ. Just letting you know you can see me there. Give me a follow on social media. Going to be a lot of fun. At Jim Gies _ at Cageside Grease, GRIES. Also, most importantly, want to thank you so much for being here. You're the best part of this network. I love my job so much because I get to be here for you. I'm so passionate. Baseball is my first love, and I cannot believe that Major League Baseball has the technology that we have now, the world does, that I can do this over the computer, StreamYard, Simplecast, Podio, you know what I'm saying? YouTube, we're everywhere. We're free where you get your podcast. Javi and I are. And Javier Reyes with Locked On Padres Podcast. We're free on YouTube. We're free on Roku. And we are free wherever you listen to your podcast. That means Apple. That means iHeart. That means Stitcher and Podbean and all the above. So iHeart, Apple, Stitcher, Podbean, and Spotify, and many, many more. All right, a lot to do, short time to do it. Got to cut down on the time of the show, but I just have so much dang fun doing this with you guys day in and day out. Again, thank you for making us your first watch or listen every day, but for the second one, you really have to check out. You don't have to, but I strongly encourage you to check out the all-new Locked On MLB Game Night. That's every game. That's every night, all season long. 162, baby. Get local analysis on a national scale. Find MLB Game Night on Locked On MLB on YouTube or wherever you listen to your podcast. That's right, Jim Grieshaber, call me Grease. This is your Padres Postcast on the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day, and I call it yours because it is yours. We're here for you and only you. You know what I mean? I mean, we might get paid too. We're here for that, but we're here for you. After every game, I'm here with the postcast every day, almost. Javier Reyes is here with the podcast. And as we continue breaking down this game in this series, 3-2 the final, had already talked about how you had Fernando at the plate in the 8th inning, and you had Brandon Lockridge on second base, right? So Fernando hits a scud out to right center, all the way to the track. They make the play. Lockridge doesn't tag and go to third, and Rodriguez had just thrown a wild pitch. Then in the 9th, second and third, 2 outs, Jake Cronenworth strikes out with the tying run and the go-ahead run in scoring position, where the Padres hit. What did they hit today with runners in scoring position? Let me take a peek. Technology. Love the technology here. And smash that subscribe, hit the bell so you get alerts when we come here with more content, and then come on in and say hi to your boy in the comments. So Robbie Ray, 7 innings, 4 hits, 2 earned runs. They couldn't wait to get him out of there. Problem is, you go Rodriguez after he gets his 7th hold, and then you got Doval, who picks up his 8th save after they got him, earlier in the series. So in an inning, he gives up 2 hits and strikes a guy out. But what happened there in the 9th is you're thinking Manny might hit a home run and tie the game. He's been doing that lately, hitting homers and driving in runs to either tie the game or give the Pods the lead. But no, Manny singles to right, and then Merrill flies to center. Gavin Sheets rips a bullet of a single to right. So first and second, and then, what happens there? Iglesias grounds out to short, slow hopper. But on the play, Manny Machado, Manny equals pro. You know what I'm saying? He doesn't just hit homers. His 350th today. Doesn't just web gem the hell out of every team he plays against. No, he's really smart on the base pass, great leader, all the above. So Manny takes third base, right? And then you got moving up to second was Sheets. You know what I'm saying? And then Cronenworth strikes out swinging. So the game is over, and that was that. But all the 4 games of the series were 1-run games. Every one of them was competitive, great pitching, not many errors, if any, in this series. Really well played, almost playoff baseball, because what happens in the playoffs? Great defense, teams not committing errors. And then, of course, what happens? Teams don't score a ton in the playoffs for the most part, usually. And these had a playoff feel to them. And with the Dodgers splitting with the Mets, they came back and won. Yesterday was the day when you had the 5-run lead. You'd be tied for first still right now, even with today's result. Had you won that game yesterday, Pivetta on the bump, he was dealing. You had a 5-run lead in the 5th. You had a 3-run lead in the 6th. And then Adam implodes on top of Pivetta. Cease has one tough inning today. Lack of concentration, the way he was pitching. Robbie Ray makes one mistake, though. So if, and you know what I say about if, right? But the Padres still sitting pretty. You're going to Milwaukee to face a pretty good team, and we'll give you more on that in a minute. But first things first, I grease, freaks all the honeys, dummies, Playboy bunnies, those wanting money. Those are the ones I like because they love when I do this.
Time to reveal where the game was won or lost. It's the turning point.
So obviously they don't even know when I do that, but we're just having fun. I love my job. How about the turning point maybe being it's 3-2, right? The turning point of this game when the Giants came back in the bottom of the 3rd, and it was a 2-run double. And I'm trying to remember who hit the dang double. Thank God for once in this series, it was not, just crazy. Ramos killed him in this series. It wasn't Ramos for once. It was, who was it? Yeah, it was Smith. It was Dominic Smith. It was Dominic Smith with the, and you got to give him credit, man. The ground rule double, big time clutch hit in that moment for him. And again, just, it just didn't bounce the Padres' way a couple of times tonight. So in that inning, he hits that one. And, that obviously was a big difference in the game. And the other one was knocked in by Adames. And that was, sacrifice fly. So again, they were 2 for 7 with runners in scoring position. I'm just trying to make sure I give you all the numbers here. And the Padres were 0 for 5. Here they go again. Oh, dang, here we go again. So Fernando 0 for 4 with 2 strikeouts. Arise left the game early. His spot came around in the 8th when they were trying to rally, and Tyler Wade struck out. You know how when it just isn't your day, it isn't your day. So we hope Arise is okay. Dylan Cease hit by the liner. We hope he's okay. You know what I'm saying? But I'm trying to remember. There's something here on the rundown that I wanted to hit for you before but the turning point was when they bounced back and scored 3 right away in the 3rd. And then both teams shut each other down. Shutout baseball. Wheeling and dealing, baby, on the bump. And that was what it was after that. And then real quick, I just want to make sure I'm hitting this. Yeah, the M&M boys, Matsui and Morgan, they were fantastic tonight for the Padres. David Morgan again and Yuki Matsui, the M&M boys on there, going to Milwaukee to face a hot Brewers team. Cease hit by Liner. Arise leaves early, hoping they're okay injury-wise. Both teams shut each other out. Manny hits career homer, 350. Series split 2-2, all one-run games, and you're where you had a game and a half behind the Dodgers and a game above the Padres. Now the Diamondbacks, you know why I call them Diamondbacks? Because short is D-bags. They're hot again, too. They've been winning. So they won again today. They beat the Braves 11-10. They're nipping at the heels. Let's see where they're at now. It's a long season, and there's a lot to do with the Padres, obviously. And they're facing a Milwaukee team that's 34-29. More on that in a minute. But San Diego, yeah, they're 2 games behind the Dodgers now. Forgive me. 1 ahead of the Giants and now 4.5 ahead of the D-bags. The Rockies actually swept the Marlins. So they first series sweep since early last season. Jim Grieshaber, call me Grease, GRIES, at Jim Grease _ and at Cageside Grease if you're a UFC or boxing fan on social media. We take that to the highest level. I'll be on ESPN Radio Saturday with Booker T breaking down UFC 316. Of course, still be doing the Padres postcast. They play the Brewers this weekend. Real quick, we gave you the turning point, and again, it could have been where they didn't score with the rallies in the 8th and the 9th, but it was when the Giants answered R2 with their 3 in the 3rd. But how about this? What are we going to do about this? Maybe you can help me out.
This is the Locked On Player of the Game.
I mean, again, I got to give shouts to the M&M boys. They were fantastic. They're not the players of the game, but there's Morgan and there is Matsui. They were great today, and Morgan, especially with the 2 innings, keeping them in the game after Cease came out. And props to Dylan. He got hit on the arm by a line drive. Arise came up lame running down to first base. Tough day overall. Who else could be the star of the game today? Dylan Cease, not the star of the game, but the toughest dude in the history of toughness. I mean, like one of them. This dude got drilled in his pitching arm by a bullet coming right back to the mound, and he just stood there with his hands on his hips and started throwing right after. What a G, Dylan Cease. But our star of the game has got to be our guy right here. Here's the celebration for Manny, career home run 350. There you go. Manny Machado. He's the star of the game. Look, he was 4 for 4 with a walk on base all 5 times yesterday. Had a brilliant outing and almost won him that game yesterday. He's been big hit after big hit lately. Great in the field, as always. But Manny was 2 for 4 with 2 RBIs. They came on 1 swing, a home run, career home run, 350 in the 3rd inning. That gave the Padres the 2-0 lead. They would later give that lead up in the bottom of that inning. But Manny Machado is the star of the game. All right, you're going to Milwaukee. We are leaving San Francisco to go to Milwaukee. Beer and cheese, and oh man, I wonder how they're feeling about Aaron Rodgers signing with the Steelers. Who cares, right? I don't think anybody cares. But Randy Vasquez, 3-4 with a 3.99 on the bump for the Padres against Chad Patrick, who's 3-4 with a 2.97. Brewers have won 10 of 11. They're a 60% favorite to win this game. Now, the money line says Padres plus 130, Brewers minus 155, and the run line says plus 1.5 for the Pods. I like that there, and minus 1.5. Don't sleep on Vasquez. First pitch is at 5:10 p.m. Pacific tomorrow, and we will be live right after the game. Not you, I will be, but right here on the Locked On Podcast Network, wherever you listen to your podcast, Spotify, Apple, iHeart, Stitcher, Podbean, et al., and Roku. You know, at OTT, yeah, you know me. We're free on Roku, and we're free right here on the YouTube, where you'll also get Locked On Padres podcast with the great Javier Reyes, and you'll also find Locked On MLB Game Night, which is every game, every night, every day on the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day. Once again, 3-2, the final, and all 1-run games in a 2-2 split. Robbie Ray gets the win. Pitchers duel against Cease after the Pavetta game yesterday. Look, they didn't lose the games as so much as they were beaten. Clean, crisp baseball, great pitching, playoff environment, playoff caliber, all the above. So thank you so much for being here. Enjoy the Brewers series again. 5:10 first pitch tomorrow. Be here right after. The sun will come out tomorrow. Well, maybe not in Milwaukee, but you know what I'm saying. You're not in Milwaukee. At least I hope you're not. But if you are, I hope you use Game Time to get your tickets. Thanks to FanDuel. Thanks to all of you. Keep your game tight and your mind right. Friar fandom, thank you for watching Padres Postcast and the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day. Jim Grieshaber, call me Grease. I'm out.